Cash for my home sounds easy, but here's the math. A lot of homeowners think if I can just take the cash offer, I can skip the showing, skip the repairs, and just move on fast. And sometimes that's actually the right call. But what if that easy button actually costs you tens of thousands in net proceeds? I'm going to break down when exactly a cash offer makes sense and when it drains your equity. Stick around. I'll break it all down right after this. All right, let's talk about one of the biggest questions I get today. Should I take a cash offer or list my home the traditional way? I'm Weldon Hobbs. I'm based out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. But what I'm sharing here, it applies anywhere across the country, whether you're in Florida or Texas or wherever you happen to be. Look, the decision between a quick cash sale and a full market listing, that comes down to three things. Your net, what's acceptable to you, then your timeline, and your stress tolerance. If that's something you're wrestling with, make sure to subscribe to stay updated on Colorado Springs and nationwide real estate news, because this conversation, it is happening everywhere. The market today, it is not crashing. There simply isn't enough supply for this. But homeowners across the U.S., they are facing higher property taxes, insurance hikes, and general inflation that's stretching every budget across the country. So for a lot of people, it's not about being upside down. It's about actually just affording life. I spoke with a lady in Florida last week who really hit this point home. She and her husband, they've lived in their house for 40 years. They'd raised their kids there, but they didn't want strangers walking through their home. They didn't want to stage it. They didn't want to have to declutter it. They didn't want to spend weeks wondering if their buyer's financing would fall through once they actually got an offer. She told me, Weldon, I just want certainty. At the end of the day, she accepted the cash offer. It wasn't the highest number on paper by far, but it was the one that let her breathe. Now, that's the trade-off right there. There's a cash offer that gives you certainty, and then there's the traditional MLS listing, which that gives you exposure, market exposure to the free market economy. If you're someone who wants control and flexibility, maybe that one extra zero at the end of your net proceeds, listing on the open market, that still wins 9 out of 10 times. But if you value certainty and speed, more than squeezing every dollar out, the cash route might be your best friend. There's the net sheet reality, okay? So when we start looking at what's coming in, what's going out, and what your opportunity cost is, with a traditional listing, you have agent commissions, maybe a few minor repairs, and then the standard closing costs, but you're also capping the highest possible price from buyers competing for your home. Now with a cash offer though, you're paying in the form of a discount, and that instant offer, look, that company or that investor, they're not gifting you the convenience. They're charging for it by offering 5 to 15%, probably closer to 30% below market value. And I've seen sellers leave $30,000, $50,000, even $80,000 on the table just because they valued that convenience more than anything else. Now, repair and appraisal gap fears, that's a reality. If your home needs work or you're worried about appraisals, cash offers, they can feel like a lifeline. But even here, there's a middle ground. If you do the pre-list inspections, as-is pricing, or target investor buyers through the MLS, they can give you a similar timeline without giving away equity. Then you have timeline and flexibility. Cash offers close fast, but with a strong listing strategy, you can often get the same timeline with more control. Want to stay in the home for an extra few weeks after closing? That's negotiable. Want to coordinate with your next move? That's possible too. Cash doesn't always mean less stress. It just means different stress. Now recall the Florida couple that I mentioned. They chose the cash offer because for them, privacy and simplicity, that outweighed everything else. But when we compared the numbers side by side, cash versus MLS, their difference in net proceeds was about $47,000. When she saw that, she said, I think we bought 40 years of peace and sold it for convenience. Now, that line stuck with me because that's really what this comes down to. Not who's right, not who's wrong, just knowing that what matters most to you and what the trade-offs are. So what should you do? If you're sitting on the fence, don't guess. Run a net sheet comparison. Line up a cash offer next to a market listing estimate and see the real difference. Once you see the numbers side by side, the right choice, that becomes clear, not emotional. And here's the thing, Across the US, this conversation, it's only growing. Investors, they're stepping in before foreclosures ever actually happen. Families are downsizing because affordability, it is tighter than ever. It's not a crash, it's an adjustment to new realities. You have options. The key is understanding which one fits your life the best. So whether you're thinking about a cash offer or listing your home, I'd love to help you run the numbers side by side. Let's do a comparison. It's no pressure, no pitch, just the facts to help you make a great decision. Schedule a no-pressure chat using the link below in the caption or give me a call. And if you're outside of Colorado Springs, I can connect you with a trusted local expert wherever you are. Either way, get the numbers before you decide, because peace of mind starts with clarity.